Dr. Umar Johnson has been lying to you and stealing money from the black community for years now.
I'm gracious, but I'm not content, because I know y'all got a lot more to give me than some $250,000.
Hit that Cash App. Let me see who on the Cash App. Where them donations at?
This man is cooked, y'all. From claiming to be Frederick Douglass's descendant, Dr. Umar Johnson has managed to raise over $1.6 million for a school that never opened. But sometimes, millions just isn't enough. Not if you want to become the self-proclaimed Prince of Pan-Africanism. The things he does are so calculated, so perfectly designed to manipulate black consciousness to a point where it makes us question everything. Can you imagine falling for this pitch year after year? The man who claims to fight for our children while taking our money and delivering nothing. Dr. Umar is what every scammer wishes they could be: charismatic, convincing, and wrapped in the flag of black liberation. People are saying he's more con artist than educator at this point. But now, his strategy has completely backfired. It turns out people are not buying it anymore. DNA tests proved he lied about being Frederick Douglass's descendant. GoFundMe shut down his campaign and refunded $375,989 to donors. PayPal froze over $100,000 in donations. The Pennsylvania Psychology Board investigated him for practicing without proper licensing. His school building is being auctioned off for $76,000 in unpaid bills. And if you spend any time on Black Twitter, you know the comments are a hot mess. He's been lying about everything, made fake property inspection videos, staged a polygamous wedding for publicity, and even tried to sell lunch dates for donations. This is the story of how the Prince of Pan-Africanism became the Prince of Panhandling and the King of Scams. By the way, if y'all are enjoying this exposure so far and want to see more videos about this sort of stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Love you all, family. Now back to the video. Before we dive into the money, let's talk about the lies that started it all. Dr. Umar Johnson, real name Jermaine Shoemake, built his entire brand on a foundation of deception. "I am a blood relative of Frederick Douglass," he declared to audiences across the country. "We have a family reunion every 2 years." This wasn't just a casual claim. This was his entire credibility. The descendant of the great Frederick Douglass was here to save black children. It was powerful. It was inspiring. It was also completely false. The Frederick Douglass family initiatives, led by actual descendants Kenneth B. Morris Jr. and Nettie Washington Douglass, issued an official statement in 2016. We can say with 100% certainty that he is not a descendant of Frederick Douglass. But Umar didn't stop there. He doubled down. So the family did something that should have ended his career right then and there. They got DNA tests. Johnson's father was tested against verified Frederick Douglass descendants. The results? No match. Zero genetic connection. The science was clear. Dr. Umar Johnson is not related to Frederick Douglass in any way, shape, or form. So this man built his entire platform on a lie that can be proven false with a simple cheek swab. Back in 2014, with his fake Douglass connection established, Umar Johnson stepped onto stages across America with a message that hit every black parent right in the heart. He painted a picture of salvation, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy for Black Boys, a place where our sons would learn their true history, their royal heritage, their divine purpose. "This is a revolution," Umar proclaimed. Black America listened. Grandmothers who remembered segregation saw justice. Young adults tired of waiting for change saw action. Dr. Umar Johnson had given us a dream worth fighting for. So when he asked for donations to make this dream reality, black families across the nation opened their hearts and their wallets. The donations came flooding in. $20 from a single mother in Detroit, $500 from a grandfather in Atlanta, $1,000 from a professional couple in DC who'd been saving for their own children's education. By 2017, Dr. Umar had raised $375,989 through GoFundMe alone. But that was just the beginning. PayPal campaigns, speaking engagement contributions, private transfers. We're talking about over $1.6 million from working black families who believed they were investing in their children's future. These were teachers, factory workers, nurses, barbers, people who sacrificed because they believed in the mission. The money was rolling in. Umar was living well. Constant travel, speaking engagements, a lifestyle funded by people who could barely afford their rent. But there was just one problem. Years kept passing, and no school was opening. In 2017, GoFundMe shut down his campaign and refunded $375,000 to donors. Why? Too many people were asking where the money was going and getting no answers. Around the same time, PayPal froze over $100,000 in donations. The reason? Umar was soliciting tax-deductible donations without proper nonprofit status. That's illegal. Facebook suspended his main account for violations. One by one, the platforms that had made him rich were cutting him off. But did this stop Dr. Umar? Not at all. He just moved to Cash App and kept the money flowing.
Hit that Cash App. Let me see who on the Cash App. Where them donations at?
So when critics started demanding transparent accounting and realistic timelines, they were stepping into a minefield. Some people had been watching since the beginning. Voices in the community tried to warn us. Show us the budget. Give us a construction timeline. Let us see the permits, the contractor agreements, the educational plan. Simple questions, the kind you'd ask before investing in any legitimate project. YouTubers like Lean and Honor started investigating. Community members started asking questions. People who loved the idea but wanted to see actual progress. Where's the money going? Why won't you show us the books? When will children actually be sitting in classrooms? But Dr. Umar Johnson responded to accountability differently than most legitimate leaders would. Dr. Umar attacked the questioners. Y'all are crabs in a barrel, trying to tear down a black king, running to the white man to complain about the one brother trying to save our children. Did y'all like that impression? I try my best, gang. He turned legitimate concerns into racial betrayal. Question him, and you're working for white supremacy. Demand transparency, and you're a self-hating. The message was clear. Real black people don't question Dr. Umar Johnson. He weaponized our love for our people against our need for the truth. And when that didn't work, he got creative. In September 2021, he staged a fake polygamous wedding ceremony with 2 black women, live streamed on Instagram during his FDMG family festival. I'm not really getting married though, ladies, he told the camera. It was pure theater, designed to generate buzz and donations. So the black community rallied around him even harder, defending him against critics and sending even more money. And the strategy worked. Every time someone questioned Dr. Umar, 10 more people donated to prove their loyalty. Social media became a battlefield. Critics were called sellouts, but the money kept flowing to Dr. Umar's accounts. Meanwhile, the man himself was living well. Constant travel, speaking engagements across the country, a lifestyle funded by people who could barely afford their rent, but believed they were funding a revolution. But while Dr. Umar was building his brand, he was also showing a pattern of questionable behavior that would eventually expose his true character. As the years went on, stories began to surface about Dr. Umar's business practices. King Randall, who paid Dr. Umar $3,000 for a speaking engagement. Umar took the money, agreed to the date, then simply never showed up. Then there was the Chicago property scam in 2017. Umar posted a video claiming to inspect Chicago public school property for purchase, but investigation revealed the corporation handling CPS sales called the video total fabrication and confirmed Johnson was not authorized to be on the property and may have been trespassing. Other contractors and collaborators came forward with similar stories. Money taken upfront, promises made, then silence when it came time to deliver. The pattern was becoming clear. Dr. Umar Johnson would take your money and deliver nothing in return. So when Pennsylvania state authorities started investigating his credentials, they uncovered even more troubling behavior. In 2017, the Pennsylvania State Board of Psychology launched a formal investigation into Dr. Umar Johnson for practicing psychology without proper licensing. The hearing occurred January 8, 2018 in Harrisburg. Potential penalties? $10,000 per violation. Woo! Dr. Umar had been presenting himself as a psychologist on radio shows and in promotional materials, but investigators found he lacked the proper clinical psychology license for independent practice. During the hearing, Johnson defended himself by claiming he only represented himself as a school psychologist, but evidence included multiple radio interviews where he referred to himself simply as a psychologist. This wasn't just about technicalities. This was about a man misleading people about his qualifications while taking their money in trust. So when the city of Wilmington started demanding payment for basic property fees, Dr. Umar's pattern of avoiding financial responsibility was about to catch up with him in a very public way. Here's where the story gets really crazy. Dr. Umar claimed he bought the Delaware school buildings for $400,000 to $750,000 cash. with donations. But public property records tell a different story. K-12 Management, Inc. is listed as the actual owner since 2017, not Dr. Umar Johnson. By 2025, the buildings owed the city of Wilmington over $76,000 in unpaid water bills and vacant property registration fees. 4 years of bills that Dr. Umar simply ignored. For a man who claimed to have raised over $1.6 million, $76,000 should have been pocket change. But Dr. Umar had a different plan. He let the bills pile up, ignored the city's attempts to work with him, and waited for the inevitable. On August 5, 2025, the city issued an auction notice. Pay up by August 25th or lose the building. But instead of paying the relatively small amount owed, Dr. Umar chose to create a whole new victim narrative. Dr. Umar went live on social media with a story that would make you laugh if it wasn't so insulting. He called for protest. He demanded boycotts. He painted himself as a victim of a racist conspiracy. There was just one problem. The city of Wilmington had receipts. So when Dr. Umar's accusations forced the city to defend itself publicly, they released communications that destroyed his entire narrative. The city of Wilmington provided a detailed timeline of their communications with him. October 2024, email sent requesting completion of waiver application. No response. January 2025, deadline for waiver application passed. No application received. April 2025, Dr. Umar submitted some documents, but not the required waiver application. April through August 2025, multiple follow-up attempts from Finance Department. No complete response. August 2025, due to continued non-payment and non-compliance, auction notice issued. The city offered payment plans. They sent reminders. They bent over backwards to work with him. Dr. Umar Johnson didn't want to save the school. He wanted to lose it. But losing the building meant losing his main fundraising prop. So Dr. Umar needed a new scheme to keep the money flowing. With his credibility crumbling and his building being auctioned off, Dr. Umar Johnson launched his most degrading fundraising scheme yet. This man, who claimed to be building institutions for Black liberation, was now selling lunch dates to lonely women. The Prince of Pan-Africanism had become a discount dating service. He claimed his bank accounts were still frozen, so he needed donations just to survive. He was now begging for grocery money through Apple Pay and PayPal while promising dinner dates. A decade after promising to revolutionize Black education, Dr. Umar Johnson was reduced to selling himself. So, the Black community finally had enough evidence to see Dr. Umar Johnson for what he really was. 10 years, over $1.6 million raised, countless broken promises, the DNA test proving he lied about Frederick Douglass, GoFundMe shutting him down for fraud, PayPal freezing his accounts, the psychology board investigation, the fake property inspections, the building being auctioned off for unpaid bills, the ridiculous dating schemes, the communications from Wilmington proving he was lying about being ignored, the pattern of taking money and delivering nothing, over and over. Finally, the Black community started to wake up. Social media filled with people sharing their regrets about donating. YouTubers who had defended him began retracting their support. The consensus shifted from, give him a chance, to, we've been played. Dr. Umar Johnson had taught our community a valuable lesson. He taught us that charisma without accountability is manipulation. He taught us that racial loyalty without transparency is exploitation. He taught us that good intentions without results are just expensive entertainment. Most importantly, he taught us to demand receipts before we give respect. The saddest part isn't that Dr. Umar Johnson scammed people. Scammers have always existed. The real tragedy is what that money could have accomplished. $1.6 million could have funded after-school programs in dozens of communities. It could have provided scholarships for hundreds of Black students. It could have supported existing Black schools struggling to keep their doors open. It could have funded mentorship programs, tutoring services, community centers, real programs with real results helping real children. Instead, it funded one man's lifestyle and ego for a decade. There are real Black educators doing amazing work right now with a fraction of what Umar raised. Teachers in underfunded schools, community organizers running after-school programs, mentors working with at-risk youth. They're the real heroes, and they got nothing while a con man got rich. Dr. Umar Johnson's decade-long con should teach our community some important lessons. Demand transparency from day one. Any legitimate organization will happily show you their books, their timeline, their concrete plans. If they won't, walk away. Question anyone who won't accept questions. Real leaders welcome accountability. Fake leaders hide behind racial loyalty and victim narratives. Verify family heritage claims. DNA tests are cheap and easy. If someone's building their credibility on family connections, make them prove it. Support existing successful programs over flashy new promises. There are Black organizations doing amazing work right now that need your support. Find them. Fund them. Remember that calling out fraud protects Black people. The people who tried to warn us were trying to protect our community, not tear it down. Judge leaders by what they build, not what they say. Results matter more than rhetoric. Dr. Umar Johnson's story is ending, but our story is just beginning. We've learned that we can't afford to waste our resources on fraudsters. Our community's money and trust are too precious. We've learned that real liberation requires real work, real accountability, and real results. We've learned that the loudest voice in the room isn't always the right voice to follow. Most importantly, we've learned that we don't need a savior. We need to save ourselves with transparency, accountability, and support for programs that actually work. The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy was never going to open because it was never supposed to open. It was designed to be a perpetual promise, a permanent fundraising tool, a fantasy that could generate real money without delivering real results. But our children deserve more than fantasies. They deserve real schools, real programs, real opportunities. And we're going to give them those things by building real institutions with real accountability. Dr. Umar Johnson didn't fail to build a school. He succeeded in building exactly what he intended, a personal ATM machine powered by our people's hope. But his success has become our education. We know better now. We demand better now. And we're going to do better now. No more fake prophets, no more charismatic con men, no more empty promises. From now on, we support organizations that show us their work, not just their vision. We fund programs that have students in classrooms, not just buildings in disrepair. We invest in leaders who welcome questions, not those who attack questioners. The age of the false prophet is over. The age of real work begins today. If this video opened your eyes to Dr. Umar Johnson's decade of deception, please share it with someone who needs to see the truth. And if you know of legitimate Black educational programs doing real work in your community, drop their information in the comments below.